Hi, my name is Suzan McDowell, and I'm the president and CEO of Circle of One Marketing. We're a local, minority owned, because I own it, marketing agency focused on providing access to the Black and Caribbean consumer. We've been doing it for 22 years. Our 22nd year is going to be celebrated in December. And in the last couple of weeks, I decided that I was going to go back to the gym. I have always been skinny, smaller person. And I was super skinny last year. And then this year, I gained like 7 to 10 pounds. So it's not a lot. It sounds like a lot. It might not sound like a lot. But for somebody that's small, all your clothes don't fit, basically, which is terrible. So I started my journey again with my trainer, Kenny. He's awesome, trying to fit back into my clothes. It really doesn't, the pounds don't matter. It's really the fitting into your clothes. So I'm looking forward to getting back into my clothes. And I'm here with this very lovely man, Mr. Sam Tejada, and who has this wonderful company called Liquivida. And so we're going to talk about his book, which is right here. What is this? How to Win Modern Wellness, Delivering Trackable Results for Impatient Consumers like me. So, hi, Sam.
Hey, how are you, Suzanne? Thank you for having me here.
No problem. We're running a little late today. I'm a little discombobulated, but here we are. So, we're going to start from the beginning. Tell me about yourself. Start from the beginning. I was born, and then what happened?
So, I was born in Dominican Republic.
Yes.
Back in 1987, so it makes me 36 years old.
Oh my God, you're 36. That's forever.
So, parents decided to migrate. I'm the youngest out of 4. Mm-hmm. Parents decided to migrate. I was only about a year old. Mm-hmm. And we moved over to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So don't ask me
Milwaukee.
About Dominican in Milwaukee. I was probably the only Dominican in Milwaukee. And, grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, cold weather, whatnot. Moved down to Florida my senior year in high school because my parents had to relocate business. Mm-hmm. So throughout that time, it's a big shift. My senior year in high school, just leaving all my friends.
Yeah, that's a major shift.
Yeah. And then came down to South Florida, and I had to focus on something. I was no longer around all my friends and stuff, so I decided when I came down my senior year in high school, I said, you know what, let me focus on working, doing something with myself. So I actually became a lifeguard and swim instructor for the YMCA in Boca Raton.
At what age?
At the age of 17.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was, doing the lifeguarding thing, and I was very much so into helping other people, mm-hmm. and that's why I was a lifeguard, a swim instructor, mm-hmm. and throughout that time, my senior year in high school, I said, I got to figure out what I'm going to do as a career, once I graduate high school, mm-hmm. and then I saw the opportunity here in South Florida that firefighters were not just volunteers; it was a career. To be a firefighter.
Yes, of course. I mean, I've seen the show 911. We've all seen Chicago Fire. Isn't that basically what
that was my favorite show growing up?
Listen, Rescue 911. I love those firefighter shows. It's awesome.
Chicago Fire is
yes,
pretty good
and they're
too.
Always super cute like you. They always are. Is there like a factory of gorgeous firefighters somewhere? I think
I was on the fireman's calendar here in Miami, right?
Of course you were in a fireman. Okay, what month were you?
I was March.
You were March.
Both years that I did, I was March.
Oh, got it. And then in a few minutes, you're going to take off the shirt and show me why.
I don't know about that.
Maybe not that.
You're putting me on the spot.
Too far. Okay, all right. So anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, so I decided to go that career path because I was already doing stuff, as a lifeguard, rescuing people mm-hmm. and helping people life safety skills on how to swim.
Like service, you like to serve.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I love to serve, especially serve the community. So I ended up going into paramedic school, fire academy. And by the age of 19, I was already licensed and certified. And then by the age of 20, I got hired with the City of Oakland Park Fire Rescue in Broward County. Mm-hmm. So I did that for 12 years. I actually retired about 4 years ago.
At 36.
Yeah.
At 32.
32, yeah.
How can you retire? Is that a thing? They always say Secret Service agents or people they have a tour and then they got to be is there a limited amount of time that you can?
So the reason why I can say I retired is because I got vested into the pension after 10 years.
Oh, money.
Yeah. So I was able to actually officially retire.
Yes.
And the reason I retired is that my side hustle that I started doing on my days off from the fire department mm-hmm. was Liquivida. and the business just took off. It's a company that I was doing it just to supplement my income like most firefighters do on their days off. I started it with $500 in my back pocket, and I did it more or less to do something that I was passionate about, which is helping people with their health and wellness needs. And the business just started growing, and it grew to a certain point where I had to leave the fire department to really focus on the things that are most rewarding for myself.
Yeah. I before I owned my agency, which is now 22 years old, I was at Hot 105 Radio, and I was great at what I was doing as a salesperson. And then I got an opportunity to start my agency, and so just like you, start it while you're doing something else, and then literally for me, same thing. It got to the point where it was untenable. I was doing a bad job in both places, so you have to at some point decide you're going to leave. But it's actually really smart, I think, to kind of start it early, because then you have start it before you leave something, because then you have a buffer. So then when you leave, you're able to go straight into it. So that's what you did.
Yeah, and what you just said, I experienced exactly that, because I was telling myself, I was like, you know what, I'm going to do both. I'm going to keep on pushing it until I can do it.
Firefighter.
Exactly. And the adrenaline's going and everything. And people started telling me, it's like, listen, you have to leave the fire department to really grow this, to take it to the level where it needs to be. And for about 2-3 years, when I should have left prior to when I actually did, I ignored it.
I know, so did I, because you're like, oh, you don't want to let it go because you're so good at it, and it's like easy. After you get good at it.
And truthfully, once I did let it go, that's when everything really started taking off.
Yeah, it starts taking off. Yeah. So I remember the day that I quit, and I was so afraid. It took me 3 months to quit my job. 3 months of every day, like, okay, I'm going to quit today. And that something would happen. I missed it. I'm not going to do it. And the next day, and I was so afraid. Didn't do it.
You want to hear something crazy?
Finally did it. And I just remember the day that I did it, I was so, relieved and too proud of myself.
That's awesome.
And all of these people that had said that I would never leave the radio station, I was never going to be more than that, their whole face changed. They were like, oh, snap.
Wow.
She really is brave. So tell me, how did that go for you?
So I can relate. Yeah. And this is the crazy part, is that I had the whole resignation letter, my retirement letter, written several months in advance. And I was just like itchy to hit the send button, take it into the chief. And I just couldn't do it. And then when I actually made that commitment where I told myself, I'm going to do it on this specific date. I'm sticking to it. And my mind was it was like a switch.
It was a switch.
That's it.
I know exactly what you mean.
And when I did it, I just felt so relieved. I said, it's time to just make it happen.
Yes. And you bet on, really you're betting on yourself.
That's it.
So you're betting on yourself. And I was in corporate corporate America for a long time. And then I had a pension, I had stock options, I had 401k, I was a single mother, I had all this stuff, and it's scary.
Right.
To think that you're just gonna leave this paycheck that you're gonna get because you're good at what you do, so you're gonna get this great paycheck. And then to leave it and really not know where it's coming from, but then 5 minutes after you leave it, all of a sudden the universe is like, hey, girl. Right? They were like, hey, Sam.
Yeah.
What you doing? We've been waiting for you to leave that fire department.
Yeah. And the other part is like the other people, that know that you're ready, that you're almost going to leave, that start putting those thoughts like, oh, you're crazy for leaving this job.
Oh, my God.
You have job security. Because, especially growing up, like my parents, it was all about job security. Like go to school, go to college, get this good paying job.
Immigrant families are not a game.
Yep. And so it's even, my family, it's like, why would you leave a government job where you have a pension and everything else?
Government job.
Yeah. And it's like you needed to hear the other voices that really help you tap into your inner self and follow what your dreams are. And that's what I did.
Yeah. No, I remember my dad, who madly in love with my father, my dad, who's no longer here. But I remember when I called him up and I was like, Daddy, my father was in Jamaica. I was like, Daddy, I'm going to start my own business. I'm a marketing agency. And Dr. McDowell was like, what? I was like, but Daddy, he's like, you're going to leave your job making a gazillion dollars for what? To start your own ad agency? And I remember being like so crushed because he was my daddy and I loved him. but he's old school. He's like, what are you talking about? You're leaving your, job, making all this money. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I have a friend of mine that said to me, and this is what happened to you. She said, Suzan, or she tells people, she goes, Suzan outgrew her pot. So I was at the radio station doing a great job, and I just outgrew it.
Right.
I had nothing more to offer.
Yep.
Nothing more to offer.
That's exactly
that's
how
what
I
happened
felt.
to you.
And I've always told myself, it's like, I look at the world as a whole, and I think about everyone who's in leadership positions now, and how everyone gets old, and we're all promised two things: the day we're here and the day that we leave. So someone has to step into these leadership positions. So I've always told myself, I said, if you really want to make change in our world, you have to put yourself in a position of power. And
Absolutely.
I felt like for me to do really what I want to see in this world, the fire department got me to a certain place, but it
gave you skills.
Gave me skills.
That you use all day long.
100%.
All day long.
That's where I gained
it.
the skills
Yes,
from there.
I know.
So, and I don't want to stop
I think
here.
we're the same person, except I'm in radio and you're a firefighter. I have a marketing company. You have an IV company or whatever we're going to talk about, whatever it is you do. I think we're the same person.
Pretty much.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So anyway, so then you left, and then the universe opened up and gave you all of these opportunities.
Gave me these opportunities.
Because it always does. That's what it does.
And that's the thing. The opportunities are there, but you have to be an opportunist and take advantage of those opportunities.
Yeah.
You can't be blindsided. You have to have your eyes open, take those opportunities, grab them, and run with them. Some will be great opportunities, and other ones, they'll be learning experiences.
They'll be learning experiences.
Yeah.
I always say, like, success. Everyone thinks, they look at you and they're like, oh, she's so successful. He's so successful. And they think success goes like this. Success goes like this. That's how you go up, but you're not going in a straight line. I don't know why people think you're going in a straight line. You go, you fall, you go further, you fall. But the point is that you don't stop.
You don't stop.
The point is that you keep going no matter what. And there have been days where I'll be on my face. I'll be on my face like my life is over. My life is over. For whatever reason, it's over. Nobody's ever going to hire me. My whole, I'm dead. And I just keep crawling. And as a fireman, I'm sure you've seen people that if they just give 3 more seconds of effort, they're going to live.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Or if you get there, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's completely true. And that whole other people seeing you as successful, but you know what your definition of success is. Because for me, same thing. Oh, he's so successful. He's working at the fire department. He's going up the ranks in the fire department. And for me, that wasn't my definition of success. My definition of success is being able to leave a legacy behind for when I do have children.
We are the same person.
Yeah. And for me, that wasn't it. It's like I wanted to be known as a great businessman who created jobs for other people. And change the course of healthcare, and that's what I'm doing with Liquivida.
Yeah, absolutely. I just remember being like, I can't have this be my whole story. Like, I can't just stay here for 40 years. I really want, I want to be more. I want to show up more. I want to get further. I want to, Beyonce has this song that I always say I'm going to play at my funeral. It's I Was Here. The whole song where she was like, I was here. I did what I was supposed to do. I tried my best to help as many people, but I was here.
Right.
And that's what when I leave this earth, I want people to go, that chick was here.
She was here.
I mean? She was a little wild, but she did a whole bunch of stuff.
That's awesome.
So tell me exactly about Liquivida.
So Liquivida, we're a health, wellness, and beauty company. So we have wellness centers throughout different parts of the nation. Right now, we've sold 32 locations.
I'm sorry, what?
We've sold 32.
I would like to point out, ladies and gentlemen, this 36-year-old who was at the fire department for 12 years.
Right.
And how long have you been gone?
I've left 4 years ago.
4 years ago, 32 locations in 4 years. You're a slacker. That's what you are, a slacker. So how did you get to what?
So, again, I started the company with nothing, and we've been just scaling organically. We're self-funded, and we're actively franchising now. So out of the 32 locations that we've sold, more than half are open, and we're still selling more locations. We have plans on really putting these wellness centers throughout the entire nation to help people with their health and wellness needs.
So I show up at Liquivida. Hi, I'm Suzan. I'm here. Then what happens?
So Liquivida is a bit different than your typical clinic.
Yeah.
So the type of things that we do
I feel like you're different than the typical firefighter.
I am.
Yes,
I am definitely. Most people will say that
Yes.
too. So we take a proactive, preventative approach to health and wellness versus what we've been so used to, which is reactive medicine, where we wait until people are sick to then try to take care of them and only do something for the symptoms and never focus on the root cause.
Yeah.
So Liquivida, for us, when people come in through the door, we're doing what we call is look under the hood. We're going to do a bunch of different diagnostics without you being sick to figure out what's going on with your health.
Like you might be sick. Like to stop it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So one of the things we do is a very comprehensive blood analysis. It's not like your typical general practitioner. Our blood work is almost like 30 pages long. So we're looking at hormones, autoimmune issues, food sensitivities, toxins that you might be exposed to through environment, through foods, right? So when we actually look at your levels and we see things that are slightly going out of optimal ranges, then we can say, hey, let's focus on this. Let's make sure
You might have a problem right here. Before you have a problem with your stomach or your heart or your lungs.
That's it.
This is the trend, and you could turn it.
And prevent it from becoming a problem.
Becoming a thing.
Right.
That sounds kind of genius, actually. Sounds very genius. So, because I'm a marketer and I love graphics, that IV is blue for a reason. What does that mean?
It is. So the way we started was with vitamin IV infusions, where we basically deliver vitamins, minerals, and amino acids directly into the bloodstream. So yeah.
Like, you always see those movies where like some guy is wrecked and he has to go on stage, and then there's a crazy doctor that shows up with a bag, hooks him up to an IV, and you're like, is that a thing?
Yeah.
Like, that's a thing.
It is. It is a thing. So, and the reason we give these different nutrients intravenously is that you get 100% absorption rather than like when you take vitamins by mouth, you only get statistically, it shows that you only get about 20 to 30%. And that's why you have to take these vitamins by mouth, sometimes 2 to 3 times a day, every single day of the week. A lot of people have gut issues, they have leaky gut, they have acid reflux, all kinds of stuff where they're not even getting the 20% absorption. So when you do intravenous, you get that hydration, you get all your different vitamins, your antioxidants, and you feel fantastic.
And then I'll be even prettier than I am now.
Oh, we got the magic in there called
God.
glutathione, the master antioxidant. It gives you that, they call it the Kim Kardashian glow
What?
you get from it. Yeah.
What's it called?
Glutathione.
I need some glutathione.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I come to you and you before you diagnose me, just in general, I get my glutathione and then what happens?
So yeah, we do the blood work, see what your deficiencies are, and then from there, what we'd like to do is we create a personalized regimen for you. So no one's the same. We go based off of what you need, your goals that you're trying to accomplish, and then from there we customize the different health and wellness programs that we're going to do with the patient.
Got it.
Yeah.
What's so annoying is the little tummy. This little tummy thing that I know all women have. Somebody told me one time that the reason we have this is to protect the ovaries. I don't know if that's the truth or not, but
I've never heard that one before.
I know.
But I like it.
I have no idea if it's true. But, and my friends and, I was like, oh, my stomach. You always feel so because it's just there. And you know what I always try to tell women? I'm like, look at any single woman. We all have a little, some big, some are small, but they're all there. This little thing. I mean, the only ones that don't have it are like 15-year-olds. You know what I mean? Once you get to a point. And so sometimes I have to forgive myself that I don't have a flat stomach. You know what I mean? So that's just a function of age.
Yeah, and that happens. As you age, you could start getting a little bit of the stubborn fat. You can lose muscle. You get a little bit of muscle atrophy. You lose volume in your face and stuff. And there's a lot of different remedies and nutritional things that we can do to help combat that.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
So tell me one of those things.
So first is figuring out what you're deficient in. So there's a lot of different nutrients that help your metabolic system, right? So you have different vitamins like B12, you have methionine, inositol, choline, those are amino acids, and L-carnitine, and those are metabolites that help basically enhance your metabolism, right? So if you're lacking on those nutrients, your metabolism is shutting down. And what's happening when your metabolism shuts down? Your body starts to store extra fat and all that other stuff. So those are some of the things that we want to focus on. We want to focus on what you're eating. Listen, I'll tell you, me being Dominican,
listen, it's rough.
Third world country.
It's rough.
Most of the food we have is for starvation, right? That's why we eat what we eat.
So it's to get you full quickly and a lot. Yeah.
Right.
Rice and beans and all that
the
stuff.
most readily available food on planet Earth.
Of course, yeah.
It's not the healthiest food. So
rice,
beans.
Rice.
Listen. And when we go to the family reunions, I got cousins and stuff. It's like it's a mountain of rice. It's like, what's under that rice? And it's eating that much is just not good. It's too much carbs. Your body's going to store it as fat. So that's part of the process that we go into is education. So when we start talking to like people that are from where we are, right, the inner city and everything else, the biggest downfall is the lack in education on health and wellness.
Just understanding. And it's not hard.
It's not.
It's really not hard.
It's just getting the information to them, right? To them, to us. And then once you get that information out there of like, hey, this is really what you should be eating, then it's just an easy shift and you start seeing the transformation come.
What's hard is the discipline. I mean, when I say it's not hard, I mean, you don't have to do so many gazillion things. You know what I mean? There's just a few key things, drink more water, don't eat late at night, thin out the carbs and the sugar. But it's the discipline. The discipline. So like we were talking about me and my health journey and my workout journey. My little 7 pounds, if I just get on the treadmill and go for enough time, my body, because I have a high metabolism, it'll whittle down all those 7 pounds. But the difference is, do I have the discipline? I do not have the discipline. Right. I want to lay in my bed. I want to watch Morning Joe. I want to think about my problems. I want to go, who do I need to call? And I do not want to get up out of my bed. So now I have my friend Kenny, who's my trainer. Kenny's like, are you awake? Kenny's like, pow, pow, pow. And because I have to meet Kenny,
that's it.
That's how it goes. So it's the discipline. It really is the discipline.
The discipline, the accountability component.
Accountability.
Kenny's that,
the fact that he's downstairs. I'm like, fine, I'm coming. He's like, where are you? Where are you? You know what I mean? He's here already. So I'm like.
And that's what we do too. It's like part of it, like our wellness coordinators, which is kind of our patient advocate. Mm-hmm. They are the accountability component for the clients that participate in our programs, making sure that we're following up with them.
They're stalkers.
Also, like for example, I'm wearing the Aura Ring. The Aura Ring gives me...
Oh, that's the Aura Ring?
Yep, it gives me a bunch of data.
So I'm not trying to be rude, but this isn't a wedding ring. This is an Aura Ring?
I wear it on my wedding ring.
It's a wedding and an Aura ring?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it got really big. Okay, none of this is gonna. So does this work? This Aura Ring thing?
So yeah, so that thing gives me so much data. For example, last night I ate late, right before going to bed, and guess what it told me? It said, "Hey, your heart rate was too elevated before going to sleep, so your ready score for today is not where it needs to be."
So you're not prepared to be with me because that's what your Aura Ring told you? You're not at your best?
I find other ways to be prepared.
I'm like, you look pretty good to me.
So, but it's, when we talk about accountability, something as simple as this is giving me that information where now I'm like, okay, you know what? I shouldn't eat so late at night.
Yeah, so it gives you the information. So you're like, okay, now you adjust. You're able to adjust.
Because when you eat so late at night, now your body, your heart rate's up because it's trying to digest that food. Good. Oh, it's like that comfort food. I get it. You go to sleep like nice and cozy, but it really is not so good for your health, though.
Well, don't tell Kenny that last night I went to Coyo, came out of Coyo with a taco, a whole bunch of stuff, sat and ate it. I was so happy. Oh. And the whole time I'm like, this is wrong.
Those tacos are fire.
I was like, it's 12 o'clock. Yeah. Tacos are fire.
Yeah, they are.
Coyo. Do you know that Coyo, I know we're going off the topic, but I'm tangential. Do you know that when Andrew Gillum was running for governor, him and Barack Obama rolled up to Coyo Taco?
No way. Really?
What's up, y'all? What's going on? Just rolled up to Coyo Taco, created a big old, oh my God, can you imagine? Somewhere.
That's a spot, though.
Andrew Gillum and Barack Obama show up and you're like, is that? So anyway, Coyo Taco.
That means you got good tacos.
Yeah, shout out to Coyo, shout out to Coyo.
Yeah.
So I have all these lovely questions by our Martell, but I have a feeling that we could talk about a whole bunch of other stuff. So let me, okay, so your book. Tell me about this book. Tell me about the impatient people part.
So the book, all right. So a lot of people are asking about the book. Just published it a couple months ago. So when I got into the industry, I actually went a different route than a lot of other people in the industry, and I decided not to go with the cutthroat mentality against the competition.
Mm-hmm.
I told myself, I said, you know what? If I really want to be successful in this industry, I have to build strong relationships with other leaders in the industry,
Mm-hmm.
and that's exactly what I did. So
Good.
what I did
That's
is
smart.
I built these strong relationships with the CEOs and doctors that are running the industry
That are
alongside
regular
with me.
people that need the help regardless. They just also happen to be powerful, but they're people.
Exactly. So a lot of the people that are in the book that have chapters in my book are my competition. So we're all talking about how we're winning in modern wellness.
Got it. And if you put all the information together, then you'll be able to get like a good, kind of round synopsis of that.
Mm-hmm.
So how long did it take you to write that book?
That book took me about a year to put it together. So
I feel like you're an overachiever, like not a slacker. You've given me a whole bunch of. I'm like, he's so young. How are you doing all this? You're making us feel bad. The rest of us.
I got a team too. I try to empower other people, and we work together to make it happen. But I love it. I'm passionate about what I do. So
you're a leader. So I'm a leader, and I didn't start out a leader. I just knew I couldn't do what I was doing anymore. I just couldn't do it anymore.
Right.
And then over the course of time, really, you really become a leader because you took a chance on yourself.
Yeah.
So, when I left the radio station, 5 minutes after I left, my first client canceled. And I was like, oh my God, I thought my life was over again. And that was at the beginning. And a friend of mine said to me, he said, the fact that you started a business puts you in a whole nother category of person. Even if your business dies, you're in a whole nother category of person because you found a name, you got a website, you registered it, you got a bank account. All those things are like, commitment. You're like, your universe is pushing you towards making this thing happen. So anyway, so all that to say is that the fact that even when our business is doing good or not doing good, the fact that we exist and we're doing it says a lot. Like 80% of businesses go out of business in like a year. And my business is 22 years old, and I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard.
That's a huge accomplishment.
It is. It's a big accomplishment, which so when I look back on it, I go, well, I guess I was a leader. But at the time, I was really just crawling, just, making things happen. So
we kind of lose sight of that. And then when you kind of stop and just realize, like, wow, look how many people that we've touched and everything.
I know. I look back on it, and then people are like, oh, Suzanne, remember when you did this? Remember? I was like, I've had to delete a lot of files from my head in order to go back. But you leave, kind of like these tracks and these trails with people and these memories with people. And they remember it, and they come back and they're like, remember 10 years when you did this? And I'm like, was that me? And they're like, no, you were super nice. And so anyway, yes, you look back on all these years.
It's a beautiful thing.
One of the saying about being a small business owner that I love, the best thing about being a small business owner is that you have nobody telling you what to do.
That's true.
And the worst thing about being a small business owner is that you have nobody telling you what to do. Swear to God.
That's true.
It's
also,
true.
yeah.
It's like the best analogy. It's the best thing. It's like because sometimes you sit there and you just want somebody to tell you what to do. And then you realize you are the person that knows what to do. And so over the course of time, and I know you just, how many years has it been?
So the business, we're going to 10 years now.
To 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's been there for a minute, but the further and further you go and you realize what you said, the impact that you've made on people's lives just by going like this, just trying to not go out of business.
Right.
You know what I mean? You've touched a lot of lives. So
yeah. And that's my goal is helping as many people with their health and wellness and beauty needs. And then not only that, but obviously as a franchisor now is empowering other business owners.
I'm a franchisor. All right. You're a franchise. I want to franchise Circle of One Marketing.
Hey, you could.
It's
a whole nother monster. I'll tell you that.
It's a whole nother monster. That's why I'm like, I'm going to
be careful what you wish for.
I'm going to stay right here in my corner. We're trying to control this corner. So okay. So we got 35 seconds. in 15 seconds, tell people how they can find you.
So can find me online. The Liquivida website, pretty straightforward, liquivida.com.
Liquivida.
And then I have my personal website, which is samtejada.com.
Gotcha.
And then social media, my Instagram is Sammy, SAMMY_ last name Tejada, TEJADA.
Nice.
So Sammy is my nickname since I was a kid. And then you can just Google me, Sam Tejada, and I'll pop up.
Okay, good. Well, thank you so much. We are done. This is the end of our show. See you next time.